Freddie Blanton, what do you think of the intro video?
Wow, you did that all by yourself?
Hey, what do you know? A little help from the Canva, and we're talking construction. We're
Hey,
talking construction.
you got the skills to pay the bills, Danny.
I don't know about that, but I'll tell you what, technology has come a very long way. But welcome to the Energy Hub. If this is your first time joining us, we love to have great conversations. We love to talk about energy. How many times in the last 360 days have you heard me use the word energy, Freddie?
1,127, and it's typically bundled with proximity and data.
So, hey, those are great things, and I believe those are great things that go great together. But if there's something that I love to do, it's learning about an industry, a topic, and doing that with multiple perspectives. So a lot of times we'll have a podcast or we'll want to learn about something and we'll talk to one set of eyes.
Yeah.
But you take something like construction and there's so many different aspects to it, so many different things, and I love uncovering those unique perspectives, don't you?
Yeah, because sometimes we get caught in our own perspective and we can't see it from somebody else's eyes. So it's nice to figure out how they see something, how they think about something, what struggles they may run into, day-to-day activities. I want to hear about it.
That's right. So what we're going to do, we've got four fantastic people that all have different eyes on the construction world. They all are a part of it, but in all unique ways. And you yourself, you've got a little history in the construction world.
Every
And
once in a while, I get my boots dirty.
every once in a while he gets his boots dirty.
But I
How
do
long
wear gloves. Every time I leave my office, I put gloves on.
do you? Because you never know. Hey, that's good. Hey, tell me about that. That's been a long time ago now that you started working at Bobcat here in Spartanburg. I believe you were at Ferguson before that, correct?
Yeah. So I was in a different world of construction. I was on the plumbing and industrial side. Then I jumped into the Bobcat world. I had never been in a Bobcat. Didn't know anything about it. But 22 years later, this April will be 22 years. I started there when I was 15. Man, things have changed.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, this first guest. So what we're going to do, we're going to get everybody into the hub, and then we'll circle back, and then we'll start talking to each of those folks individually. So I'm going to bring up this little banner. I thought this would help us introduce folks, and this gentleman. I met him at a networking event just here recently, and I believe that we both kind of realized that he knew you and I knew you, and we had that commonality. How do you know this guy?
Well, I have watched Holbert grow his business from what, most people would consider like an owner, operator. I'm out here hustling and grinding every day to the point now where he's got, he shows up, makes sure everything's going okay. And then he's got irons in the fire in other places. And it's been awesome to watch the growth, not only personally, but in the business world.
Man, I'd love to see that. Welcome, John Holbert, to the stage.
Good morning.
John, great to see you. We're going to circle back with you and talk with you. Our next guest, someone that I've met through networking. It's been many years now. But just like John, we all go on this kind of personal growth, and sometimes as a business development rep, right? We meet great people, and they see things that they could use in their industry. And Kim Boss with United Environmental Services. She's in the dirt world too, but she makes dirt look good. Welcome, Kim Boss, to the stage.
Kim Boss.
Good morning.
Great to have you on the program, Kim. Our next guest, I don't know if you've ever drove down 85 there, maybe, and you see a lot of different buildings. Some of them look okay, and some of them look fantastic, don't they, Fred?
Yeah. Well, for years, my in-laws live on Lake Hartwell. So I would be driving to Lake Hartwell, and you'd see that up on the hill. It looked like one of those office trailers that when you run out of room at school, you'd have to walk outside and go to the outside classroom, or maybe that special students. That's what that building looked like. It caught my eye. And then one day you're like, oh, wow, they're changing some things. Oh, look at this new office. Oh, now I see their name everywhere.
Just like that. Welcome, Ben Wall from J. Davis Construction. Ben, welcome to the program.
Actually, Ben Weeks.
I'm so sorry. Hey, I've got an excuse. I was doing this late last night and I read my own name tag. I am so sorry, Ben.
That is okay. And I managed to wear the same shirt today as the one in my LinkedIn profile picture. So that's a funny coincidence.
Hey, Ben is already going to want to have a chat with me after the podcast. I can see that now. So,
all good, brother. All good.
Hey, and our next guest, let me get up to my slide. Man, now I'm kind of worried what could be on this next guest. You know, I could have messed up this picture as well, Fred. With the Fidelity Bank, I've been friends with this gentleman for years. Grew up with him here in Spartanburg. Freddie, when was the first time you met Brian?
I think it was at one of the clubhouse events.
Okay. And he's been at several of those. Really happy to have Brian Murdoch with the Fidelity Bank with us. Brian, welcome to the program.
Good morning. Happy to be
All
here.
right.
From
Yeah, great to have everybody with us. And now I'm going to take down that introduction sheet, and we've got everybody in the hub. But that was my new way of getting everybody into the hub, Fred. What do you think? Should we do that again next time, or should we try a new way of introducing?
You know what? I think it was perfect. And every time you should misspell somebody's name or use a different name just to see if they'll speak up.
Oh my gosh. If I would have known that I did that would have really been bad. But what I want to do, thank y'all so much for being here. I've been thinking about and reading about each of your stories, and you've all done some really amazing things in the community. And I do want to start with John. We introduced John first, and I want to talk to him. Freddie did say some incredible things about there with growth of the business. Tell us from your experience, John, what it's like starting a landscape business here in town.
Well, to be perfectly honest, I mean, I'm thankful for the comment, Freddie, but I mean, it's been the hardest thing I've ever done. I mean, it's just, it goes back to staying positive and figuring out what you want in life. And that's just been, it's a roller coaster. It's ups and downs, and you just kind of got to know what you want. And I knew what I wanted at an early age was, financial freedom. I used to think I wanted to be rich, but of course now it's changed the mindset of just financial freedom. And I've really enjoyed what I'm doing, and so I don't consider it work no more.
You enjoy it. I can see that looking at some of the content and things like that. What is it that you enjoy about working outside, putting your hands in the dirt? What is it about that world that you really enjoy?
So I've transitioned more from the machine side of things. I used to think that's what I wanted to do forever. And I still enjoy sitting on a machine, but I enjoy seeing the passion from a client, explaining to me what they want done, and then me seeing their vision and making it a reality. And then in the end, we always, I try to meet with the client when we're done. And after we've, of course, settled or whatever. And, I'd like to have dinner or, have a drink or whatever, and just see the smile on their face. Like, that's my passion, is knowing what I've done has satisfied them. And, it's made for great relationships. And of course it opens other doors. You learn what they do and the passion that they have. And then sometimes we end up working together.
That's right. I'd love to ask Freddie. Freddie, you talk to a lot of different folks. Some of them are probably been successful. They get a Bobcat from you and they take off, others not. Is there anything that you've picked up on with John and others that just what he's talking about? Maybe they really enjoy what they're doing.
Yeah. And, he said relationships. And at the end of the day, I think that's a key component of what we all do. How old were you when you bought your first Bobcat?
So my first new one or my first Bobcat period?
First period.
I was 17. Yeah, I was 17.
So there you go. So, dealing with somebody he put in the work early and grew and experienced, in my opinion, every growing pain that someone would experience: breakdowns, reliability on his help, angry customers. But he endured that for so long. It's built him into the man he is today. And I just think it's awesome that he does get a chance to do the job, do it right, and sit back with a happy customer and then have a fantastic relationship moving forward.
I like that. I want to segue over to Brian Murdoch. Brian, you've worked with a lot of business owners similar to John, buying equipment, doing things in the community. Talk about the kind of challenge and what it actually takes to have a successful business, a small business owner here in the upstate.
So, every market has its different challenges. So in the upstate, we are blessed with dramatic growth. There's a good base of folks in Greenville and Spartanburg and Anderson who live here long periods of time, have built their lives here. Some of the challenges that I think for small business is there's so much competition these days. And it's about setting yourself apart from others, whether that be, in landscaping and grading, for a GC, all these type things. I can speak personal experience with Ben and his team. Is when you are dealing with someone like Jay Davis, that they are always, you feel like you're top of mind. You make a phone call, you get a response, and so, and anything you need is well taken care of. And they've got very capable folks that I think in some markets, the Fidelity Bank is in, we have about 60 offices. We're in a lot of markets in North Carolina and some small towns. And you may be the only bank in town. And so, you've got limitations there. Here, if you can do like what John's doing, and when he was doing his own, and then replicate it with additional folks, kind of sky's the limit in the upstate.
Ben, I want to move to you. Anything in what John and Brian said that jumps out? Did that spark any thoughts in your mind?
Well, first, Brian, I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you saying those nice things about us. And it's nothing I'm doing. It's more about the team that we have here at Jay Davis. And I just can't brag enough about those guys. And they take a customer service mindset when they take on a project. And so I think that's what differentiates our company from most other general contractors. I tell people all the time, anybody can build you a building, but who can take care of a client? Who can understand the client's needs and be able to think about the why and head toward a common goal? And so we try to gear our guys to think like the client. When you start talking the same language and you start talking about the same goals and those things, then the project kind of takes care of itself. And so when you get back to the people, the people part of this business is by far the most important. And so understanding what's important to Brian, and me having the ability to go sit down with Brian and understand the things that are important to him about his project and what the end result needs to be and the why. And he explained that to us. The reason that Fidelity puts so much into their buildings and into their construction projects is because they are trying to cater to what their clients want. And so when we all start understanding that, the project kind of takes care of itself,
Absolutely. Would you guys, I use this word in the beginning, would you agree that there's a certain energy with it, with a project and with relationships when everything is clicking? Kim, I see you nodding your head. What when you hear the word energy from a female perspective, new to the construction world, you can speak on that as well if you'd like. But where does your mind go with energy?
Well, I think it all kind of comes into play with what Brian, Ben, John were saying, with connecting, with responsiveness. You have a great team. One of the things that I'm so very proud of is the team that I work with. So that brings, like, just having that great team that has such responsiveness, integrity, that brings energy to me. Like, that's how I think of the energy. Like, we're all working as a team and we talk about things and different perspectives and what do we need to, how do we strategize to get more business? So for me, energy, that fuels my energy, is working with a great team.
Absolutely. What about you, John? When you think about working with a great team and good energy on a project, or maybe it's a customer that you really get along with, talk about that.
I think energy and attitude kind of go together. I have great energy if I stay positive, and I've noticed that even in my guys. If they have like a negative attitude, they just have no momentum and they just don't want to work. So I mean, I try to, with any interaction, I try to stay positive and have good energy, and the positivity just pushes me to do more. So that's kind of where I am with that.
Absolutely.
And
Brian?
not interject, we
Please.
have that with our own teams, whether it be our business or our bank. I think it's important that we have folks on the outside individually. If you're leading a team, you need to have folks that you can chat with and talk to and keep you focused, looking at keep the important things important. And I know I'm an older guy now. I'm 53 and starting my 31st year in banking. And so there are you're leading a team, and so sometimes you can't go to your teammates. But I have a number of folks in town and around. Daniel, you're one of them, and sometimes I'll call early on a Tuesday or Wednesday morning. Hey, let's grab coffee and kind of feed off energy from someone else. And I've got a CPA buddy, an attorney buddy. My dad was in banking for 40 something years. And so I think it's important that we have some resources.
Absolutely.
Focused.
I agree, Brian. Ben, your team has grown tremendously. I had that one image up on the introduction. It's really grown extensively. I know you've got an office down in the Charleston area now. And then I wanted to talk about Spartanburg and growth into the Spartanburg area. Can you talk a little bit about what it was about this area that Fred and I grew up in that Jay Davis said, this is a good spot? Oh, I'll meet you.
Traditionally, Jay Davis has not done a lot of work in the Spartanburg area. We actually got asked by a local developer to build a little strip mall up there a few years ago, and through that we made some contacts. But of course, you guys know Bill Bradshaw, our business development manager. Brian, you guys are good friends. But Bill, being from Spartanburg, kind of opened our eyes to what was going on in that neck of the woods. And then once we started spending some time up there, what I found was that the people of Spartanburg genuinely want the area to grow, and they want it to grow right. And so we found that we found a lot of like-minded individuals who did business the same way. A lot of people who, straight shooters, want people that are going to do what they say they're going to do and stand behind their word. And it just all kind of clicked. And what we started feeling the energy. We started feeling what was going on in Spartanburg, and it became priority number one on our list to plant a flag there. We just felt that Spartanburg is going to continue to grow. The people in Spartanburg are the kind of people that we want to do business with, but we're also not naive to the fact that we're the newcomers, and we feel that. But we just want a chance to learn what the market's like, to interject ourselves where it's appropriate, and the projects that fit and the people that fit with us, and grow something. I mean, we've got a really good model to kind of, you mentioned our Charleston office. Charleston this is year 4 in Charleston, and we're feeling that Charleston is just now getting ingrained in that community and building a team and starting to do some great things. So we feel like Spartanburg could be a model just like that, where we get good folks from Spartanburg who want to do business the right way and insert themselves into that market and be a resource for folks. And again, much like the relationship part, if you can do that and you can start thinking along a mutual path, then the projects will take care of themselves. We'll find the people that want to do business the way that we want to do business. So it's fun. I've never been part of opening a new office until I did it down in Charleston, and it was a lot of fun to do it. So we're kind of excited about the opportunity to do that again, to grow this company a little bit more.
Hey, that it's new energy, right? And the energy of the city attracted great companies, and then they get energized by this new opportunity. John, talk about what you see in Spartanburg and where you like to do work.
Well, most of my work I stay in North Carolina, but I get to Spartanburg a lot. I mean, I buy a lot of like equipment. I buy a lot of materials. A lot of it comes from Spartanburg. So throughout the years, I mean, I'm 37-year-old now, and I've been driving, of course, I was 16, and Spartanburg was the place to go. I've noticed like the malls are kind of weeding out, but in a sense, it's like a lot more small businesses and a lot more people that are willing to take the risk to be self-employed have kind of stepped out, and they're starting to grow. And I mean, I love to see that. So Spartanburg's growing.
The Fidelity Bank chose Spartanburg kind of as that first location here in the upstate, and they asked and tasked you, Brian, with making a presence here. Tell us what went into that decision for Fidelity to come to the upstate and to try to capitalize on the growth here.
I think that's important. So the bank, when they look, just kind of understanding what they saw in Spartanburg is you've got all the schools, you've got number of colleges, you've got the medical school, you've got that education there. The hospital, of course, employs quite a few. The downtown, One Spartanburg has had a great impact on Spartanburg, and you see that downtown over the years. If you've been in Spartanburg, there was a time when you could shop downtown, and then they closed off the roads and made it completely walking, and they've gone back and forth at all these different types of things. But now it's kind of like everyone's pulling together. There's growth downtown. There's you can live, you can work, you can play. There are restaurants, all those type things. And then nationally, there are folks moving to Spartanburg every day. I don't know what the latest number is. 20-something people every single day are moving into Spartanburg. And even though there are a number of banks, I think if you count the banks and credit unions, not branches, but banks and credit unions, there are over 40 in Spartanburg. And I think we're going to keep seeing more come in Spartanburg because they're seeing what everyone else is seeing. But it is a dynamic area, and Greenville as well. But Spartanburg, from where it was 10, 15 years ago, it's just amazing the growth that we see, and will continue. There's nothing in. We have analysts that come and they kind of drill down on areas, and Spartanburg, they think the growth is going to continue.
Absolutely.
It's exciting. It's exciting to be a part of it. We both grew up here, and you definitely can feel a different kind of momentum just here in the last 5-10 years. It's just really unbelievable. Kim, you came to this area. It's been quite some time. I think you came from the Buffalo area, correct?
Correct. I've been here, Buffalo, New York, where all the snow is. You don't want to go in the winter unless you like to ski.
Go Bills.
Go Bills. Yes.
Did you watch the Bills game?
That was unbelievable. I don't know if anybody saw like the last minute, but I was like screaming. I was like, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Josh Allen's my guy.
12-yard
Absolutely.
push.
Tell us what it's like as a female getting into the construction world. I think you were in, if I remember correctly, you were in property management, real estate, commercial real estate. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
And then you segued into the construction world. Tell us about the difference and starting with relationships. I think Brian and Ben both said they moved to this area and they started with relationships, and that's kind of what you do, isn't it?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I've actually built awesome relationships. I really have. I love connecting with people. So I've been here about 9 years. And of course, when I started in the construction industry, I was kind of thrown in the fire. I my guys gave me a hard hat and Timberland boots and said, "You're going to some of the meetings," when I worked for a smaller subcontractor. And then now that I work for a national company, it's awesome. I mean, in the interim, I met some wonderful men and women who encouraged me, who have been in the industry a long time, like John and Ben. You know, they were in the industry a long time, so some of them became my mentors. And I would do the same thing, Brian. I would call and ask some questions. Hey, how do I handle this? How does this work in the industry? So, and I'm still learning every day. I've been doing it now for about, 3-4 years, but I learn something new every single day. And I love the people. I really do. The people I love to help them. They help me. We work together. So I love it. Absolutely love it.
Love it. Talk about that growth for you, John, and what that looks like. I don't know. Are you muted on your phone by chance? I don't know. We lost him.
Daniel, I can chime in if you'd like me to.
Yeah, please.
I just had a thought pop in my head. You put that blurb up about the learning curve. I just think about all the mistakes I made over the years. You know, sometimes they say, failure's the best educator, right? But I think, part of building a company like John has, I mean, I'm not an owner of J. Davis Construction, but I've been here 20 years. So I feel like I own part of it sometimes, but, the part of building a business that sometimes gets left out is you got to screw up sometimes to figure out how to do it right. And I think the way that you handle the failures sometimes is almost as important as handling success, because every construction project, if you've been in one, there's going to be an issue. There's going to be a problem. And so we really feel like the way that we handle problems within our company can be a differentiator and can really kind of give that client the satisfaction of knowing that you're going to take care of them, even in the bad times, as well as when it's good,
Yeah, that was going to be that was going to be my question. What makes a job run smooth from the bank to the GC to the sub? Because we know there's going to be problems. What about the transition during the process? What makes a good job site?
Communication.
Yeah, absolutely. I had that word written down, and I think a lot of this stuff, as I looked at this and where I thought this conversation would go, we're talking about relationships. We're talking about growing, about making mistakes, right? And communication and relationships and energy and all of these things flowing smoothly. Brian Murdoch, what do you think?
Communication is what I was going to say. From the banking side, if we're there's a project that started and there's an issue or something, we understand. It happens. It's almost expected. Just let us know. Hey, phone call. We've hit this roadblock. Here's our two options. We think we're going to go this direction. So kind of on the outside, also on the inside, our chief banking officer that I work for, he is 72 years old. Fidelity Bank is the only place he's ever worked out of college beside McDonald's in high school. And so he's been there 51 years. And what he says is, if you run into a problem, it's your problem. If you bring me into it and work on it together, it's our problem. It's much better when it's our problem than your problem. And so that's kind of the thing. It always communicate. If something goes wrong, sometimes you want to try to fix it, you can, but best thing is bring in others.
Absolutely. I love that. If there's a problem, I call that jumping on the grenade, man. Somebody's got to make that call and we've got to figure it out. Kim, John, let's check your mic and see if your mic's working now. Do you know, are you good? Oh, I don't know what happened with that. Kim, I'd love to get your thoughts on it.
Absolutely. One of the things that I've learned in the communication aspect of it is I like to ask because sometimes, like, if there is a problem, hey, how are things going? How are things going on the job site? You know, and I like to ask because sometimes I find that some have a harder time of that communication. Like they're not so sure they want to say, oh, something went wrong, or hey, we're having an issue here. So I like to ask. I mean, I do business development. You know, we had a lunch meeting yesterday with a good client of ours. How are things going on the job site? Oh, they're going great. And then it kind of, you know, my engineers come and we're kind of all intermingled, and then they can answer whatever technical questions if they have any questions. So I like to engage that, just because not everybody's going to come forth and say, oh gosh, there's a problem, you know?
Kim, I love that. I call that the elephant in the room. Brian?
I was going to mention too, along with what Kim said too, is it's so refreshing when you're dealing with someone that gives you like what's the worst case scenario. And of course, I can't go into names, but Daniel sent the bank a referral probably a year and a half ago, pretty large developer that buys buildings that need work. And so this was a pretty large for us, close to an 8-figure deal. And my initial conversation with him was, this property is not great, needs a lot of work. It could be issues. I think it's going to take us 12 or 15 months to get it where it needs to be. And so when I went into it, I'm thinking, well, this is going to be, you know, kind of a tough property that needs a lot. Well, I go out there, it's a great property. And what he said was going to be 12 or 15 months. The part that he needed done, he did in 180 days. And so it's one of those things too. You learn to trust. You learn who you can trust and who is going to give you a straight story. And then that for future transactions, it's not a transaction anymore. It turns into a relationship when you can trust somebody.
Boy, when you can tell them something that's hard to say, right? I mean, the relationships that I have are the ones where I've had that uncomfortable conversation where I've told them the truth and they respected me for it. Freddie, have you ever had to make a call and tell somebody their machine may not be repaired when they wanted it to be repaired and they're on a job site?
Yeah. That, you know, that's pretty common. As much as we want to get something fixed, 24, 48, 72 hours, logistics, parts availability, diagnosing it properly. This stuff just doesn't happen overnight sometimes. And, you know, most customers will understand it. Sometimes they don't like it at all. And I get it because, you know, they may have been pushing them to get a job done. But we really do try to get it done as soon as possible, because in our world, we know that the equipment is their livelihood. And it's crucial to keep it running.
Absolutely. I want to segue over to Ben, and I love the origination story of J. Davis Construction. And so I'd love to get in the time machine and for us to go back in time and to talk about the beginnings, because what people see now is this nice fancy new building on 85 and all the growth and success. Take us back to the beginning and how you ended up in the role and with the relationship you have with Joel.
Oh, goodness. That's a long one, but I'll try to make it quick.
It's a good one though, Ben.
So Joel and I were friends in high school. Joel's a little younger than me, believe it or not. But I was friends with Joel's older brother. Anyway, Joel started the company right out of high school. He started building fences and barns for local farmers. I mean, he was just like John. I think he bought his first skid steer at 16. And he always says, I think he had to get his cousin to co-sign with him or something. I can't remember that story. But so Joel plugged along and built fences and barns. And I went off to Clemson, and we didn't reconnect until about 2006, 7 time frame. Brian will remember those were the early days of what they called the Great Recession. And so banks started assuming foreclosed properties at a rapid rate back then. And I found myself working for a bank managing a portfolio of foreclosed properties, which was not a fun gig, as you can imagine. But I had
You're the repo man.
yeah, I was the repo man for a while. Yeah. So I called up my old buddy Joel Davis to see if he wanted to help me board up some buildings and put some fences up. And he told me that just sounded like an awful idea and he didn't want any part of that. But he said, you know, residential's down right now, but he said, I think commercial, there might still be some work. He said, if you come work for me, he said, man, I'll turn you loose. I got good crews. We could start doing a lot of commercial work. And he had already built a few metal buildings and things. So he had a little bit of experience. And so either I was dumb or lucky, I'm not sure, but I went out and just started selling commercial work as fast as I could. And I had a lot of relationships at Clemson University. So the first place I knew to go sell work. And I sat down with an old friend of mine, Pat Crowther, who recently passed away. And I think the world of him because he took out the state bid form and he said, all right, I'm going to show you how to bid state work. And he hand filled it out and showed me how to bid state work. And boy, I was dangerous then because I knew how to bid state work. So, but we really grew a company that way during the recession. When there wasn't a lot of residential going on, we had a great client like Clemson who really kept us busy, and we were able to, you know, be not only sustained, but we grew a business during the recession. And then when things started coming back, like in 2011, 2012-ish timeframe, we had a pretty substantial business that we had built. And when the commercial work started ramping up, we just kind of grew with it. When the project started getting bigger, we started taking them on. And then, you know, before we knew it, we had 3 divisions of our company. We split off the industrial side. We split off the grading side. And then, you know, the GC division just continued to grow. So, I mean, it's a great story, but I think about all along the way. I mean, one, Joel gave me the freedom to screw up a lot. That was number one. I mentioned that earlier. If I totaled up all the mistakes I made, Lord have mercy. That man paid a lot of education for me making mistakes. But at the end of the day, we always took care of the client. That was Joel's thing. It was like, we're going to do the right thing even when it hurts. And that culture just filtered through the business, and it just grew. But because of that, I think we weren't always the biggest game in town. We're not always the cheapest game in town, but we always take care of the client no matter what. And that's what separates us. And it's been fun. It's been fun to be part of a growing business. There is no lack of energy at J. Davis Construction. I can assure you that.
Absolutely. Well, I think it's a fantastic story. And what jumps out to that story, Freddie, when you hear that story, what jumps out for you?
Well, you know, he's mentioned 2 things today. One was the culture that led to everybody having the same goal, same energy. You know, let's get after it every day. Company culture is huge. And then he said that he's been there for, you know, over 20 years. He's not an owner, but he feels like he is. And that's what you want with your people. Ownership mentality.
Absolutely. I'm gonna add Brian back in here. You want that ownership mentality. And what I love about that story, we think about Jay Davis and we think about the current situation, but when you go back, you realize these guys were doing what we all do. Just like we're out here looking for work and taking action and messing up. And I love what he said. He said he learned how to fill out that bid form, and he probably had hand cramps by the time he filled out so many bid forms. I love to see that.
You look at certain situations and they've got a good team, good culture. They're growing. They're on fire. When you spot a bad apple, how fast do you get rid of it, Ben?
Oh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one because I feel like if I brought on a bad apple, then I made a bad hire, and I feel like there's a seat on the bus for everybody. So we try kind of sometimes to a fault to make sure we find the right seat on the bus. But it's hard when when you build a business around your people, being diligent about who you hire and who you fire, I think is very important. We take an awful long time to hire people, and you look at our Spartanburg office right now. We decided 6 months ago that we were going to do it, and we're going to hire a bunch of people to put in it. But we are so diligent about who we want in that office, and that hire being so critical. We're okay taking our time until we find the right person, because if we make the wrong decision there and put the wrong person in that seat, it will not work. And we know that. So as kind of a long-winded way to answer your question, we are so slow to hire that we're pretty good at it. I'm not saying we get it right all the time, but we really spend an awful lot of time and energy making sure when we bring people on our team, they're the right people.
John, are you back?
Can he talk?
He may need to hop off and come back on.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from that. I'd love to hear from Brian Murdock. I just love that story. I don't know if you got a chance to hear all of that, or maybe I've heard it before. That origination story of a company like that. Oh, you can't hear? Oh, wow. Uh-oh. Can't hear me? Yeah. Well, hey, I don't know.
We
Brian.
can hear you, I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna put John up here. John, can you hear us now? Oh man, he can hear us, but we're not able to get folks. I tell you what, hey, with a live program, this is the thing.
This is it.
This is what you learn. But Ben said this, and I want to kind of go back to that and bring Kim in as well. The learning curve. Freddie, I remember when you said that you started, let's see what, Brian, can you hear us now? Are you good? Can you comment for us on the Jay Davis origination story? You have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I thought that's pretty amazing. And that's kind of the thing, that when you have folks working together, they had a good relationship coming into it. And anytime there's something in the market that changes, sometimes those are opportunities, even if market changes are negative. And so during this recessionary period, coming out like they did strong and working with Clemson and those type things, it's finding an avenue and finding a way to make it work. Another thing that I wanted to mention, something that Ben said that kind of caught my attention, was spending the extra time on hiring. And I know none of you have ever heard of this before, so this may be the first time, but some bankers come across as lazy and don't put in a lot of hours. I know none of you have ever heard that, but
no, we haven't. But is that where the term banker's hours came from?
It does. And so, quite frankly, there's a lot of folks that are in the banking realm that may have the education, aptitude, all this type things, but lack the desire, the motivation. And so, but like what Ben says, there are spots. I mean, maybe they need to be crunching numbers with tax returns or on the finance side and those type things. But it takes a special individual in banking to be kind of on the sales side. And so, so we take a lot of time as well. It's so important when you find that right person.
Absolutely. John, are you able to speak to us? Oh, hey, and we had his mic working earlier too. I really, that's unfortunate.
I was sitting here thinking about people on John's team. You know, he gets a big job. He's got a couple guys out there building a $300,000 retaining wall on the side of a mountain to hold a house up. Do you think it's important how he vets people to hire them?
Oh, absolutely. And he's leaving guys, there's a different level of trust when you're in the hiring process for John, I'm sure, because now, like he said, he's kind of managing projects. He's got more going on. I really wanted to hear what he said about Ben's evolution and what that's been like, because I'm sure, and this is where we're going to go next, because I think this is a big deal. The learning curve, growing pains. When we're doing new things, when we're trying to be a good business development rep like Kim and start relationships and bid work, we're going to mess up. We're going to screw up. We're going to fail. But that's really what growth is all about. Freddie, I know you told me when you first got into the construction world, you had to back up a trailer and it was a disaster. Is that right?
My first ever delivery, I had to take it up near the cliffs. I drove up the guy's property, unloaded the machine, put my ramps back up. We'd done all the paperwork, and he was like, all right, to get out of here, your best thing to do is back the trailer up over there and then pull out that way. And, so I started to try, and I was a mess. I was already nervous. I don't know if I'd ever backed the trailer up anywhere other than the Bobcat of Spartanburg lot.
Yeah, y'all got a lot of room over there.
Yeah. So he walked up and knocked on my window. And, I looked surprised, but I was hoping he would. He said, you want me to back that trailer up for you? I said, yep.
Hey, no hesitation whatsoever.
No, I had to learn.
That's like finding that lighthouse out in the ocean. But I love that. Throw them in the deep end and let them figure it out. I work with someone, any job that I've really improved in, I've had a boss that did just that. Just said, go figure it out. Kim, what about your world there at UES and getting into construction? Did you get thrown to the wolves? Did you make any mistakes?
Yeah, I mean, I look at it like this, right? So, but this is, I guess, just because experience being in business development and sales for a long time, I've learned. So, and to me, the learning curve, like you said, is so important. And one of the things that I do is I like to observe with people. So, because everybody's different, but I like to observe the room, kind of sit back, listen. I know everybody talks about that, but it really is important because sometimes you can see, okay, either something's wrong or they have a question maybe that they're not, coming right out and forthcoming and saying. And so I like to ask them a lot of questions. And I don't know, to me, observing the room is like super important. And again, I'm learning every day. But if mistake wise, before I know, I'm not afraid to say I don't have the answer to something or I don't have the resolution like right at that moment. So that's when I go and call a mentor. That's when I go and call one of my engineers. So I try, I'm not saying I never make mistakes, but I've learned that I try to, before I make a mistake, let's see if we can get it resolved. Let's see the right way. Let's see if we can get them an answer. Let's see if we can find them a resource. So that's kind of how I work that.
Absolutely. But we do, it's all, we've all got those growth journeys. We all try things. Sometimes it works out. Sometimes it doesn't. I'd really love to hear from John. Maybe we're praying for a miracle. Can we hear you, John?
I sure hope so.
Hey, man. Now, we've been saying things, and I just want you to have the freedom to say whatever's on your heart. Where did your mind go with some of the words that we've been saying here?
So, I mean, I love listening to, of course, they're older than me, and I love hearing that, there is light at the end of the tunnel, because some days I have bad days, and, you just keep going at it and keep pushing and keep going. And eventually, you're like them. You got, different areas of the states, and honestly, I don't care to be that big. Like, I don't want to be, global or multiple areas in different states. Like, I'm happy and content kind of where I am with, my 30 employees, and that's a lot, but
wow.
I love the growth.
Hey, that's fantastic. And I know just by looking at some of the things there and talking to Freddie, you've got kind of an entrepreneurial type spirit too. So it's not like you don't have big goals and big dreams about what you want to do. Tell us about that journey and about this young man that bought a piece of equipment at a young age, learned how to make some money, learned how to run a business, and then he said, hey, I want to learn something else. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I mean, I never thought at a young age I would,
own as much real estate as I do currently. But it got back to the connections. Like I've got in a position with every piece of real estate through the grading industry. I made a connection with a guy that owned car washes and was wanting to retire and get out of it. And long story short, he taught me so much about car washes. I was like, I'm going to own a car wash. This is fascinating. So I started traveling all over the country, learning what I could about car washes. And now currently I own 2 different ones. And then that led into the laundromat business. And then, I bought an RV park currently, and I've got a trailer park. I mean, there's so many different things that it just all ties back into the grading industry and the connections that I made through the grading. And I'm not scared to do something different. I've kind of learned that it's good for me. It's good for my mindset to get out of my comfort zone and learn something different. And it's amazing what I've learned in real estate that kind of went back to the grading industry, the help with employees. And it's a full circle, and making the connections is what's important.
I love that, John. And you learned what you needed to do to make the next step. And then each of those steps gave you a new skill that you now can apply, because you probably do the grading out at those campgrounds, don't you?
I do every bit of the grading. Yes, my team does, for sure.
So see, that's just a fantastic thing. Ben, do you see any of that same type of mentality in John that you guys had? Really, he talked about meeting the right people at the right time, didn't he?
I think so. I think John and Joel Davis are probably cut from the same cloth. Joel's kind of a serial entrepreneur too. I think we have 5 divisions now. Little known fact, there is a J. Davis cattle division now. Yeah. But we have our GC division, which is by far the largest, the biggest revenue generator. But then I mentioned the industrial services division. That's, they have 75 or 80 guys that are just going out to working in industrial facilities every morning, doing anything from, cutting up concrete, pipe. We got pipe fitters, we got welders, we got electricians, we got guys that just go out and take care of industrial clients. Then we have a smaller grading operation, more of a one of. They kind of stay local over here to our part of the world, in Anderson, Oconee, Pickens area over here. And then Joel has a cattle division that he runs with his family. We have an equipment rental division that we've just kind of started, but that is mainly catering just to our industrial clients. And we've got ideas for other things too. So, the whole never sitting still seems to fit us well. We're always looking for our next challenge and how we can really help more people, because we feel like everything we do is about the people, and our mission statement is about how we can impact the most good on everybody with our projects. So we try to live by that. And it makes it fun.
I love that. I'm going to give everybody here, as we close out, kind of things that you are working on, people that you'd like to connect with. Kim Boss, tell us what you do, Kim. And I'm going to get Brian back up here, and remove the other Brian.
So UES stands for Universal Engineering Sciences. And what we do is we're a turnkey third-party testing firm. So we do geotech, environmental materials testing. And, going back to what Brian had said, I think it was Brian that said it earlier. Was it you, Brian, that said you got to kind of separate yourself? I'm a big believer in that. And yes, it is about the people and the connections, 100%. But one of the things that we offer is we do subsurface information modeling, which is it detects it's much more extensive than your basic GPR. And I see this in almost every construction project, whether it's a developer, a civil, GC, oh my gosh, I hit utilities. We did GPR, I still hit utilities, depending on the project. Oh my gosh, yeah, we just had a project yesterday that they said there was a stream under the ground, and once they started digging, all this water just started coming, and they didn't know about it. So we really pride ourselves in being able to provide that particular service along with the other ones. and it's pretty awesome. So I kind of use that to like get my foot in the door with folks, because I know we can help them, and it's been a very, very, very valuable service in our industry.
Absolutely. John doesn't like it though, because you tell him when you go hit rock, I think. So he doesn't like that.
Well, you know, he may like that because he gets to say those two words: change order.
More money.
I saw,
Wow, we can help resolve that. So
oh boy, that's not a fun, or it depends on who's saying there's a change order involved. Like which end it's coming from. That's the big key. Hey John, tell us what you're looking, what you like to do, what you're excited about in this last little bit. Just tell us what's on your mind.
So, I mean, more or less my grading business, I've got well connected with a lot of different contractors, and it's kind of stable. More of what I'm looking for now, you know, which of course just made a connection, is more banking. I mean, I would turn loose and get a little more aggressive on the real estate stuff, because I'm out here. I find stuff all the time. And one holdback for me is either the connection on the banking side to make a deal happen, or a group of guys to make a big deal come together. I mean, that's kind of more of what I'm after now, is just, you know, I've been networking with a lot of successful, you know, business owners, and that's, you know, kind of how I've ended up with some of the deals that I'm in now. Is, you know, I've just joined hands and become partners with quite a few men and ladies on some deals, just to make some stuff happen. And with my connections, their connections, it's amazing what can happen. So,
Well, hey, I am happy to be the one that introduces you to the best banker in the upstate. So you've got the person to talk to right here with you. And
John, you have an incoming call today.
yeah,
thank you.
I love it. Hey, and now we're going to kind of move it to Brian. Brian, what's on your mind? Tell us about Fidelity. What are y'all excited about? Where are we headed?
Well, you know, in banking, as opposed to some different other industries, we're selling the same thing. We have deposits, loans. Those are dollars. So we have to differentiate ourselves with how quickly we can respond, the things that we can do, and can we pattern it. Fidelity is small enough. We are what's considered a small community bank, which I like to describe it as a community bank with some horsepower. And so we can do the smaller deals. In Spartanburg, I have made an equipment loan on a $32,000 piece of equipment. And then I've had a real estate request that was right at $25 million. And so we handle all those type things. We love construction. We love development. And we are real estate bankers. And so that's kind of where we are, and could be a better time or place than where we are right now.
Love it. Ben Weeks, tell us about Jay Davis and what we're excited about.
We're just excited about becoming a part of the Spartanburg community. I mean, that's our goal. I just had a meeting right before this with my marketing folks, talking about some initiatives coming up for this year, some cool things that we want to be a part of in Spartanburg. So we're just excited about the opportunity to work with folks like Brian. We got one project going with Brian right now, and we hope there's more on the way. But just the folks of Spartanburg have really helped us and embraced us as part of the community. And you mentioned One Spartanburg earlier. I can't say enough good things about One Spartanburg and how they've helped us. It's just been a blessing to have them on our side.
Absolutely. We are very fortunate to have that organization in Spartanburg to kind of help manage all of this growth and all the people coming to the area. I'm going to give it to Freddie Blanton here to close us out. We've had a great conversation. Brian said something about having that horsepower, a hometown bank, that personal feeling with some horsepower. I like that.
Yeah.
What's your final thought for us today, Fred?
Well, if you look at the group we've had today, culture is key, energy is key, building the right team is key, not being scared to take that next step is key. So surround yourself with like-minded people, build the horsepower, and proof's in the pudding. We're looking at it on the screen. Good things will happen.
I love it. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of the day, and we will see you next time in the Hub. See ya.
Thank you.
Bye bye.